Tonight on the Paranomalies podcast, we have Bigfoot Kenny. He's a Bigfoot researcher with over 30 years of experience doing that. He also owns the haunted house in Blue Hill, Nebraska, and we're excited to talk with him tonight.
The Paranomalies podcast would like to thank Twinkle Twinkle Little Store located in Cheyenne, Wyoming for sponsoring our show.
Good evening, Jason. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. We're going to have to get Twinkle's new address up there on the ad.
Yes, they had their grand opening. Yep.
Yeah, 1400 Delrange Boulevard.
Beautiful store.
Yeah, nice and big. Lots of stuff in there. Really cool.
Yeah.
You're going to be super excited tonight.
I am.
Yeah, we have Bigfoot Kenny. He's down there, lives in Estes. Bigfoot researcher for over 30 years. Great guy. I've been chatting with him most of the week. And he also has the house in Blue Hill. There was that documentary. It's on Paraflix and a couple other of those streaming services, A Haunting in Blue Hill.
Yep, won a couple awards. Amazing documentary for anybody that hasn't seen it. I definitely recommend checking it out. They did a really good job with it.
Yeah, so we're going to bring him in and chat with him tonight.
All right.
Good evening, Kenny.
Hey guys. Kenny. Hi, Aaron. Jason, how y'all doing? This is Kenny Collins from Estes Park, Colorado.
We're doing
just
good.
Down the road from us.
Yeah, about an hour and a half, and we're going to have to make it up that way and see you.
Yeah, that's true. We're not far away.
No, in fact, Bigfoot Festival is April 25th and 26th up there, correct?
Yes, it'd be running at the end of April this year. Normally we try to do it around the 20th, but we're going to kick it back a little bit towards the end of the month. Yes.
Since you've done that, we're going to be able to make it. Our April was pretty full, and when I saw it was the 25th and 26th, I knew Jason would be excited because we thought we were going to miss it.
Yep. So I am grabbing everyone by the collar and dragging you all up there because that's my birthday weekend, and we are going to go, talk about a bunch of Bigfoot stuff. So it'll be good.
We'll have Cliff and Mariah from Expedition Bigfoot, and of course Cliff from Finding Bigfoot, and a friend of mine that I did lots of stuff in my earlier years, David Pilates from Missing 411.
Oh man, yeah, I love the Missing 411 stuff he's doing.
Oh man, he's done a lot there on those.
He really has. Yep.
Yeah. So Estes Park Bigfoot Days started it in 2019, and I actually plugged for it for a lot of years. I mean, 2009 I got here. 2012 I had a trackway that was verified by a person who later on taught me a lot about Bigfoot, Dennis Poles from the Erickson Project. But anyways, we started the Bigfoot Days in 2019. So it's 25 now. I have a parade each year. I have a float in the parade each year in Estes Park. So they've really came on board. So
nice.
Wonderful. Nice. Yeah, I made it up there a couple of years ago, and we had a blast. My buddy, I think, took second place in the Bigfoot call competition, and
okay.
Yeah, and then we watched the documentary, over there at the theater, and it was a great time.
I think that year we had a alien contact in the Rockies, and this is the first movie I did up in Estes Park, Alien Contact in the Rockies, about orbs and Bigfoots.
Yeah. Alien Contact in the Rockies. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
I want to let our listeners know if they do have any questions, post those in the comment, and we will get those to Kenny and get you an answer. Mm-hmm. So Kenny, what made you start researching Bigfoot?
Well, and boy, it feels good guys, to do a podcast that I don't get all excited and go for 3 hours, and you guys just like, whoa. So it's kind of like I'm being more structured and listening to you guys' questions so I can answer. And because all these years of doing this is like therapy, and I could never ever talk about what I've done out there. But to start all this, it was a Nebraska boy. I was about 12, and we had a chance to go into a little town to see a flick. I didn't even know what a flick was. I'm like, where are we going? A flick. So we go into town, and there's 4 of us, 12, 13, and three of them go see Planet of the Apes. And at that time, I was 12 or 13 then, and it was about the time Legend of Boggy Creek came out. And I went over and saw that. At that age, all I knew was corn and Cornhuskers. Of course, God, I'm just saying. And,
Yep.
I got out of that movie and I walked out and I was like, wow, what are these things? I'm going to find out someday, and we're not monkeys. That's what I said. Because the other 3, when I got out of the movie, they're running around town like the apes. And I'm like looking at them like, and I'm in shock. I'm in some type of, it seeded me. It puts something in me. It says, boy, I got something for you. You're 13. I'm 63 now. I still don't have the answers, but I know then I had a quest for something, and in the years it came. So that movie, you're going to hear a lot of us out there say that's the movie that did it. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, they were boogeymen then. They were the river monsters. They weren't the Bigfoots. We looked at them as the creature of, stories of out in the woods you don't want to go into. That's movie structured me and got me going. So
Nice. What was your first experience or first thing that made you know that there was something out there?
all these years going out and seeing sticks and structures and finding things and not getting the ABCs and not getting your class A. I got everything else. Could hear them, could find details of what they're doing. And in an area in Estes Park, and I worked for the Safeway Fuel Center, and I had a Bigfoot wall. Corporate Safeway gave me this big old wall. And I got all these reports that would come in. We have 3 to 5 million people come through Estes Park. Few of them stopped that station. We had some conversations that brought in the locals. And one local guy came in and says, Ken, you got to go to this area. This was about 2012. I should start out first. I found a trackway on a ranch here called Elkhorn Ranch, and I found a trackway. So I called BFRO up. Dennis Poles came up and says, yeah, you got a trackway there. And then me and Dennis became connected. He became my mentor. And Dennis Poles is from the Erickson Project. Just look that up. I got the trackway in 2013. I was around Estes Park, and I thought, well, I'm just going to wait for reports to come in. And I got a report come in. Gentleman was a fisherman. He was near Big Thompson Canyon in the river. And he says he lives in this house that he had to move out of. And he went up into this camping area that was above his house. It was a Bureau of Land Management land. You can camp there. So he's camping there, he says, and waiting to leave. And he saw it. He explained to me the Bigfoot. And he says, when I leave here, you need to go there. So when he left around October, I went up to the area where he said he saw this Bigfoot, and I habituated it. Boy, people hate to hear that habituation. But what I did is I got in there and tried to get whatever was in there to get familiar with me, that it would let its guard down one time. I just wanted to get familiar with me. I went into same demure, same everything, guys. I didn't even I had the back in them days I didn't wear perfume and cologne. It was just, I'd be rolling in dog crap if I had to. I'm just saying, just to get the stage. Yep. Yeah. And, you do a lot in the earlier years that you want to be the knower and you want to know it all. And when you become the believer, boy, does it change, because on that particular day at Safeway, they knew that I left all the time. I spent more times in that area than I did at work or at home. And I spent so much time in there saturating it on that was around October. So on January 7th, I got my sighting in the area at 9:30 in the morning. And you want to talk about seeing something that you're looking for all these years that people are telling you it isn't real and it's fake, and you're looking at a Bigfoot less than 80 yards out staring at you behind a rock. And he's like this, and he's in the rock, and he's looking at me. And what got me to look that way, in the area that I go in and saturated that habituation site, there was a big long trail that cuts through a open field. And it had snowed the night before. And what caught the vision was I'm going sideways and I see black move, and I go like that, and I look, peripheral vision caught it, not me just looking at it right away. And as I turned and looked at it right away, my instincts, my seasonal instincts telling me, you got to get a camera up. Boom, put the camera up, and I zoom all the way in on him, and he's looking at me, and he's in this rock, he's doing all this. There's another one up in the tree dropping things, and all of a sudden I went and like this. I went, my God, I'm looking at a Bigfoot. And there it is. Come back another day. Go away, come back another day. I'm like, what? Come back another day. Go away, come back another day. And I'm like, just kept feeling this. And I went, what am I doing? I turned around and walked away. Went to my truck a half mile away, got in it in tears, starting it, wondering what the heck is wrong with me. Why didn't you walk over there, you big shot researcher? I didn't do that. I couldn't accept that years later, that thing put something on me. I didn't believe in the mojo and the sizzling. We're talking about Bigfoot realm now. They can do it in the UFO thing too. You hear about it all the time in abductions, what they do to these.
Yep.
Did it to me, except for I'm like just trying to struggle with it, going, good God, you had a Bigfoot. What the heck? What's wrong with you? And why do I got to come back another day? And I did, out of respect and love for him, thinking, boy, you got all these years in this, you didn't do it right. I came back mad. I had my son tell me, you're this big shot Bigfoot researcher, but you walked away from it. And I went, yeah, I did. Well, I stayed in the area, and I was mad this time. I was like, well, you come back this time, I'm jumping in your lap. And not too long after that, I'm in the area. It's got a quartz mine in the area, and I go do a lot of my quartz in there. Quartz and power and all that's in there. I coming back my quartz mine, I jump off a rock about the area where I saw that little one behind the rock. And so I jump off this rock, I hear this scream, and I turn, and there's a little one cribbed in this little area with all the branches around. He's cribbed in there, and he's looking like this at me, and he's got this ear right here. It was so huge. It was this big ear. And I'm looking at this, and then I look up around like this, and the one that I saw not too long ago that was in the rock like this, he's behind another rock now doing this at me, staring like that. And as I'm looking at that one, a red one pops out behind a tree, and it pops out behind a tree and looks at me. I was lucky enough that when I heard that little one, I was enough away to where I could get my camera up and take a little snapshot of it all, because all this was happening at once. The little one looking around the corner, and he shot out. And I went, oh boy. That I got a report about a month later, less than that, from a person in town who saw a red Bigfoot. And
oh, really?
And I'm thinking, Kenny, come on. I mean, that's going to help you a little bit, saying it was there. And the red one, when it looked at me, and it walked out of the tree, and it did a couple steps, and when it turned at me, it looked at me with a look of disgust and contempt. It was like, buddy, you've been walking around my forest for how long now? 3 months now, banging around. Here I am. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? You don't look well. He looked scraggy a little bit, and all I could do was back off of it and walk away. And all I had to do was come off this rock, maybe 3 bounces, and been on top of me. And he's thinking, you know what? I don't think they're ever going to do that. These stories of them being malice and malicious, they don't do that to you if they know your heart. Do you know that when I said to you guys earlier, at a young age in Nebraska. I did all myself. All my years was in nursing, took care of nuns. Do you realize that this soul here is what they're looking for? He didn't want nothing to do with me as far as to hurt me. He was just saying, buddy, here I am. Lord, hallelujah, here I am. And I'm like, my God, this is why the Lord was telling me, come back another day. And he gave me something that I thought, wow, here I am all these years later. The door opened and I'm getting more and getting more of it. And all my life, I've had a type of thing in me that collected that. My grandma was very paranormal. I got that from her. I think I got something from her as far as attraction to, when I go out there, I use my grandmother, ancestral grandmother, Indian Cherokee. My cousin was the first Native American Cherokee to win the Miss America award. So I take my Indian heritage out there too. And I say a lot out there with Mahalaha, that's my Indian grandma. And that protects me. And I think that day with that red one, I was like saying Mahalaha. I was like, I'm not here to hurt you guys. I looked over at the little one and I'm like, I backed out of all of that and thought, you are walking away from, and I didn't know how am I going to explain all this to people years later on. I didn't worry about that then. I didn't worry about getting on the computer, getting all famous. I was just trying to wrap my head around it.
Yep.
And all those years later, I'm 63 now. It's like, man, Ken, you're in the area 10 years later, 11 years later, this year, and you see another one on a Bigfoot excursion. I'm taking a lady out with her child who has very slow dyslexic. He has some problems. So I took the mom out, the child out, and the mom was abused. She told me, because I asked questions, because that's what the Bigfoots are looking for. They're looking for you. And that particular day when I was walking up the trail that I said that I walked through, I was talking to her like this, looking at her, and I seen her eyes, and she goes, my God, look at that. And as I turn, guys, I see the foot, but it wasn't quite, to me, it was something different, but it went around a tree and shot between these aspens and took out these two branches that were we went back and measured over 6 feet high. And
wow.
It shot through these aspens. Now, the aspens were quaking, beautiful quaking aspens. And you could hear them, and it was just such a beautiful sight to see that. And I was standing there, and I'm like, we have to collect this lady because she is now freaking out. I mean,
he took her out there and actually saw one. Yeah.
He was like, she was so scared that when I got her out of there and got her back to her husband, and he's like, oh, she's telling him what happened. And he's like starting in like no, don't you be that way to her. Don't you have to take her sighting as nourish and respect that, and don't do what you're doing. Oh, you didn't. And she's like just almost in tears. And it made me thinking to myself, my God, she's living what I lived. And to see that, I was like, right on. But people think, yeah, you're on a Bigfoot hike and you see one. Hey, guys, they don't have a time when they're going to do it. That was 11 years ago. I got my first one. So I just think that they're in an area once, they're going to be there again. So that sighting, that area gave me the 2013. It gave me 2024 sighting, and gave me a lot of experience that matured me, got me out of stinking thinking, I call it, calling everything a Bigfoot around. There's dark spots, but people pictures and I'm like, don't talk, Kenny, because you used to do that. Pareidolia, there's a lot out there, and people think a lot of stuff are Bigfoots, but I hate the stinking thinking where, like I said, it was only 80 yards from me. Why didn't I walk over there and kick it in the rear? Just saying, I didn't. So my experiences later on in life, I dropped the fear factor down. I says, well, you're going to be afraid of these things. You can't be out in the woods looking for them, or you'd be afraid of everything. Drop that. And so that's my first sighting. Now, did you want me to go on with my other sightings?
So my question is, you explained a brown one and then the red one. So like many animal species, you'll have a male will be one color and a female will be another. Is that the same? Or are you seeing the same thing with Bigfoot?
Well, I've only seen one of the red, and it was a male. But what I've seen mostly is the little ones. I've never seen a Bigfoot with breasts. I've seen them with small or tall. I mean, the color, they say there's some white ones. I believe at one time, and I'm going to show you this print right here, guys. This was a white one. This was in a place down in my area that I got that was a white one. So they're huge. I mean, it varies. This is the print in the snow right there with that one I casted right there.
Wow.
So it was a white one. What happened was I tricked it. I was down casting it and I could hear it over here. I was casting. I lifted up my camera and he looked at me and it went like this, right down, ducked right down. I didn't do anything after that. I just said, calm down. You know it's over there. Finish what you're doing. And it didn't bother me. But yeah, there's different colors. I think that red one, it looked like the face looked like Kane, the wrestler from WWE. Had no expression, Wasn't this, it was just looking at me. And then red, Arbon color. And I've seen little, totally black ones. So little ones with immaculate eye shines. So
when you're talking little, I would guess that you're still talking like good size, maybe 3 to 4 feet for little ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now the one that I saw, the baby one, guys, that was maybe 18 to 2 feet. But the other ones I'm talking about, you're right, 3 to 4 feet, because you're looking out your tent window from the ground up, 44 inches maybe, looking out the window. So yeah, 48 inches. There you go. They're looking about that size. Yeah.
18 inches. I bet he was cute.
Oh, it was just
that would be amazing to see.
The head was small and the ear was honking huge. So I thought, Kenny, go online and look at small chimpanzees, and I did. That's what it looked like. I go, but that's
what I was just going to ask, if it was comparable to a chimpanzee.
Yeah. And then I go, but that's not what it was. It was human.
And so with these experiences you've had so far with the males and the juveniles, do you think there's something behind that maybe the males are kind of the ones responsible for taking the young out and, teaching them how to live out there? Yeah. While, the mom stays back projected.
100%, Jason, because they're like us. They're going to teach their offsprings different strategies and how to defend and keep away. And I think that, the male is the ones who they have watchers. I think there's a watcher in there and that they communicate. When you were hearing wood knocking, could you hear other wood knocking? They're communicating, but so you were talking about wood knocking earlier or rock knocking. Yeah.
Yep. The rocks. Yeah.
I think the males are in the structure to where, when I think that they tend their dead well. I think it's an organ. What do they do with them? Well, I wish we knew, but glad we don't know, because that's a good secret. Hope they keep. But I think there's a dominant male. I think that they do let the little ones come in and leave one, because I went through a 10-year study in an area near Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and that's exactly what happened. The big one let the little one come in. He was little enough that we called him Elvis. He was into the 3 to 4 foot range when we knew him. Guys, after all these years of him growing, he got very big, and we don't know how big, but years later he's grown. But I know that he let the big one let the little one take it over, because we don't see the other one anymore.
Yeah, let them get the experience, especially with living so close to civilization, right? It's got to be a certain set of skills they've got to learn to, survive around that.
And I'm so thankful that he made a mistake that day on the rock, because I caught him at a little one. They made a mistake, just like little kids. So, yeah, he made a mistake. I caught him.
Maybe got a thump on the head after,
Well, Dad was older, going, well, I'll watch and see what he does. But Yeah.
So I know
yeah.
most of them are seen, it's a single sighting, or, like you experienced with, an adult with the juvenile. Um, I've always been really interested in the theory that they live in, what we would call tribes, I guess, or clusters. Um,
Nomads.
yeah. How do you feel about that? That there's, larger groups of them, with that stay within the wilderness and maybe send, a few out hunting, gathering, teaching the young, stuff like that.
Well, I think that they stay in an area, they come back a lot to that area, but they do move. People think they move with the migration of food. Well, whatever, that makes sense. But if you're near rivers and stuff, all that, you will have abundance of food. So I think that they do move around, and I don't think they go far. In the area that I have been in, Colorado, I don't know about these Oregon, Washington, and all that, where um, I think they move around. That's what I think. And they come back to the areas. Like I said, 10 years later, that's another sighting in an area where I got 10 years ago. So I don't know. There's no, I got out of trying to figure it out because I've seen so much and done so much now. I don't care anymore, kind of. I'm just saying
Doesn't matter to track it when you can go
it
out and
doesn't,
find them,
it
right?
doesn't, it doesn't. I just know that I'm so grateful when they do come around. Please, come and visit me. So
Yeah, and I'm sure once it happens, you spend all this time researching, going out there hiking, and it's not like it's, you're just going for a walk around the block. I mean, you're going out into the Rocky Mountains, and
we know just
that's you're exerting a lot of effort doing that. So the first time you see one, or even the second or third, I think you'd just be so awestruck that you couldn't really do anything but take it in, right? And
yeah, because all these years of missing birthdays and Christmases and anniversaries and hearing your kids say at an adult age, you didn't do nothing with us, Dad, because you were out looking for that
yep.
Bigfoot. And it's like, yes, I was. I'm 63 now, and I've done a lot that I can give back now. And I do regret the earlier years of not being with the family more and letting this obsession take me. But boy, once you start getting the dividends on it and it pays off, you get away, like I said, about the stinking thinking, the glorification. Um, it's not about glorification, about education. You get away from all that, and you go to more of a. You were blessed to get it. A lot of humans don't get it, and it's how you present, how you got it. I don't worry about that. I am a train wreck because of all this. I never had everything ever in a row. Never have. I present what I got out of Bigfoot in a manner of passion and thinking, man, you're lucky, buddy, because a lot of people don't have what you got given to you by the forest people. I have wrapped myself around people out there, from Ron Moorhead to Igor Bosev from Russia. I rode on a lot of shoulders of these men. I watched them. I had an event a few years ago where Igor talked to a Bigfoot on the phone. And I'm sitting there going, my goodness, he's going to ruin us. But I didn't care. Let him say he's talking to a Bigfoot on the phone. I'm just saying, I've let the Bigfoot world take me, and then it's given to me. So I hope I can end with my better years now to have ahead of me and just show more. I want to talk about just real quick about an incident that I had at the Macy, Nebraska, with my buddy from the Omaha tribe. At my age, seeing all the stuff that I talk about, and I said I had to let my guard down. Well, what I did is I took Igor out there from Russia to the reservation, and he was disrespectful to my Native Americans. So I kicked him off the reservation. I says, Igor, I flew you all the way from Russia to bring you out here, and look how you acted to my Native Americans. So when I was out there, those guys pray to their Bigfoots. They're very spiritual. And they took me out to an area, and they could call these Bigfoots. They're coming out. You see their eyes shine. So I'm thinking, wow, what an experience. So we left that. I kicked Igor off, put him on a plane, sent him to Russia. Got a phone call from the chief. Says, Kenny, I want you to come back out. And it's about a month later after all this incident. Here I am at an old age thinking, what else can I have now? I've seen orbs. I've done a lot of stuff with these things. And as I'm out on the reservation, I went back. The chief takes me to an area. He tricked me. He says, he got into an area. He called a Bigfoot. It came out. It's looking at us. He called it Chatunga. He's looking at us. He goes, walk to it. And I said, okay. I took off. I went about 50 yards straight after that thing. Here it came at me. And my chief's going back there. Oh, I could hear him. I'm thinking, what is wrong with him? And this thing is coming at me. And it came into me, and it kind of was just above. Just looking, I'm just like, I'm going to reach up and touch you. I go, I'm going to touch the spirit of a Sasquatch. I'm going to grab you. And I went to do that, guys. I just went to this. What am I doing? I backed off. And when I went back and walked past my chief, he looked at me and says, what is wrong with you? He goes, I don't even send my own people to that area. I tricked you tonight, Kenny. I'm sorry. I was testing your courage. What's wrong with you? And I says, I'm not afraid of him. I had to let that down. You want to know what happened? He goes, the chief says, this Chatunga doesn't go to nobody. We don't know why it came to you. Well, I said, about a month ago when we were out here with Igor and he was so disrespectful, Chatunga came to me and thanked me for kicking that off this reservation. And my chief was in tears and he was like, my God, Kenny, we have never had this happen. I tricked you. He went on and on and on. And the next morning before I left, the tribal elders were already there. We heard what happened last night, Kenny. You got something that we live with. We pray to these things, are spiritual to husk. And that Chatunga picked you out last night. He goes, what do you think about that? And I says, thank you for blessing me. And I know my Indian heritage that I have in me, that's big on getting what we get out there in Bigfoot world. People want to, and that Chatunga incident, I'm 63, that happened at 61. I said, wow, that does not top what has happened in Nebraska at the Haunting in Blue Hill. So the Bigfoot realm, guys, I'm just saying Bigfoot, and whatever you do, it's what you take into it. Okay. And I know that my Bigfoot, I had this opportunity to go to Nebraska to help a lady run a museum in Hastings for 5 years and help her do the conferences there and help work on her museum there. While I'm there, I buy a house in Blue Hill, Nebraska, about 20 miles out of Hastings, 20 miles maybe from Red Cloud, Nebraska, right up in the farmland.
Kenny, we want to talk about the house in Blue Hill.
Yes.
Real quick, we do have a question from a watcher.
Okay.
Rick is asking about the knocks, like the tree knocking and the rock throwing. If you had talked to any other researchers, and does that seem consistent across the United States?
Yes.
With different Bigfoots, are they doing that tree knocking consistently across the U.S.?
Yes, I've heard consistently the communications with the tree knocks, and most of the time we go to this one area, we're always hear a response back. So it's like they want to, but it's a tree knock. Little rock clanking is a little different. But yeah, I think that the communication, I think most of the time they do communicate that way. One time we got in between two of them and we were in the middle of them and you can hear them just clanking back and forth. So I know they were telling, it was like, get out of here. We're in between them.
Sure.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a difference between the tree knocking and the rock clanking? Or
No,
do you think it's just whatever means is available they use?
That's what I think.
Just depends on where they are and what's close, I guess. Then.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, we're going to put you back into the green room real quick, and then we'll bring you right back, and we'll start talking about Blue Hill.
Okay. Thank you.
At the beginning, we talked about Twinkle Twinkle and then moving into the mall. They had their grand opening in the beginning of the month. Big store, lots of stuff in there. I always want to make sure that we get those guys in. We talk about them because they support us and we want you all to support them. Go check out that mall location. we ran into each other the opening day. Jason was there and we showed up at the same time. It's huge. Tim had a line of people he was checking out. Patricia was showing the jewelry they have. I'm sure they have more stuff in there than they had downtown for.
Yeah, I think when we ran into each other, I think my kids were just trying to talk me into buying one of the 5-pound bags of coffee that they have there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that was last week. I was like, oh yeah, I need to go get
Yep.
coffee. And now that I talk about it, we're talking about again, I need to go get coffee. Yeah. So go see Tim and Patricia. Let them know we sent you so they'll continue to support us. And we want you all to support them. We're going to bring Kenny back. We're going to talk about the haunting in Blue Hill at the house that he has in Blue Hill, Nebraska.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you
go? I'm sorry. Go
we have you back. The haunting in Blue Hill. That was a documentary that Alan and I forget the other guy's name. I'm so sorry.
Alan and Ron Myers.
Yes. They had went out and made a documentary about your house.
Yes. They found me in Estes Park and did a documentary on alien contact in the Rockies. And we talked about orbs over near Bailey, Colorado, near Wellington Lake. And we talk about Bigfoot here in Estes Park up on a hill called Pole Hill. So when I went to Nebraska and I got that house, because I wanted to help a lady in Hastings work on a museum and get her established, go to meetings and get grants from the city. That's hard. I mean, it's not like, they just throw money. You got to go and get grants. And I did that for her. I was a grant and I helped her. So I thought, right here, buy a house. So we looked and there was a house available for $54,000. That was a beautiful home. It's not beautiful. It was dilapidated, an old farm home, 120 years old then. And it was falling in a little bit. I thought, well, let me pick this up. And we don't have to come back all the way to Estes Park, to Colorado, back and forth. We just stay here. And so I got the house. I'm remodeling it, of course. But I'm talking to it because I know that the previous owner in there died in there. Her name was Ruby. They lived in there like 60 years, whatever. At least they were, I think it was 60 years they were in there, this house. And I'm thinking, she died in this room and I'm going to redo her home. As I'm remodeling this house, like say this kitchen had 10-foot ceilings. They had put a drop ceiling in. I would say, Ruby, I'm going to tear that out today. We're going to make the ceiling open. And I put a big 5-foot chandelier in there. It was just like, everything I did, it was, Ruby, I'm doing this today. And Ruby, I'm doing this for you. 2 years later, I think I fell in love with a ghost. I was like, it was just Ruby, Ruby, Ruby. And in the house, you could feel this, connection. But earlier in the remodeling, guys, I'm in our basement and I'm mixing some cement, going to do some work on a wall. And as I turn around, there's a string hanging from the ceiling and it's doing this. I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's no air down there. This thing is twirling in a perfect circle. You know that I looked down where my bucket of water was that I was mixing cement with? It had this like texture of when you see the heat rise off of a road, like rise, that it was doing that. And I'm like, whoa. I went upstairs and told my wife, as a nurse, and she's a Christian. I'm not Christian, got nothing. I'm just saying. I told her what was happening, and she's like, well, I'm never going in that basement. She never ever did. She's like, I want that room tore down there's a room down there. It's got this door on it. And if I can bring the door, you saw the door. It's right here. It's on Haunting in Blue Hill. You can kind of see the colors. Well, it's not that, but it's the colors right here. So it's painted in these red colors and blue. And it's got stuff on it and it's locked from the outside, this door. She goes, you need to tear that room down there. There's something going on. And I was like, well, so I'm down there and I get into the room tearing things out. And that's when I find a doll with horns on it. So what's up with this doll? And in that box that everything's in, there's a doll. There's a satanic book written in German. I don't know. It was 100-something years old. It's like, what's going on in this basement? why is this door down here? Why does it look like this? Why is it locked from the outside? And why does this doll have horns? So I call Alan. I say, hey guys, you need to come to the house. We got something going on here. They're like, like, no, you will come. So they come out and they did what they did as far as what you guys, ghost guys do with movies and all that. And they were blown away. Down in the basement, the interaction between me and Ruby, oh my goodness, it was just like a connection there. When the first machine first came on, I asked for Ruby. She would not shut the machine off. My Alan had to beg, can we shut the machine? Can you stop for a minute and let me? It was like, why are you asking us to stop? This is not what you guys want. You want to come on, don't you? He goes, wow. He couldn't believe the energy in it. And then, so yeah, the house now, after this movie, I've had one thing happen. Well, a couple of times I should say, on my computer where it clicks on at night by itself. And that's after the movie that came out with The Haunting in Blue Deer. So I still think that Ruby has left the house. But I think there's still something there, because when we open up that doorway, I opened up a passage and I know there's something came in. They coming in and out. And but one thing about that movie, guys, what blew me away down in the basement, when that machine, it said at one certain time, I'm going to say it now, it said Ella. And we're like, who in the heck is Ella? That ends up being Ruby's sister. And we think that's might have been the one who made the doll. That might have been the doll given to a nephew. You have to see the movie to catch the whole movie, what I'm talking about. But some of it is where I was blown away. I was thinking, you guys rigged this thing. Can you pre-program it? Because it said Alan's name, the ghost did. That's my producer. And it said my name. And it said my name after I did this. I asked, Alan says, talk to the machine. That says Ruby. And a voice came back right after that. So clear. Kenny. And I'm like, I am a Bigfoot researcher. I am seeing the paranormal coming to a ghost now. So I always thought, Kenny, it's not what you are, it's what you bring to it. And they see that. And it's Ruby and me connected after 2 years. And in the basement, when the filming was done, it's not in the movie. Ron come over my shoulders. And I want to say something right now. You guys pray for my Ron. He's not doing very well, but just pray for him. But Ron came behind my shoulders and he reached over and he said, Ruby, you could cross over. And I tell you what, it just felt like the energy was just gone. And we got the machines back on. There was nothing. Machines wouldn't even click on. You know what I mean? It was like, Ruby passed over. Ruby's gone. Ruby's gone. Did I want this? This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I go back to the house now, like, oh, did I do something wrong here? And then I think, no, because the computer clicked on twice now. It's like, you still got something here.
Sure. Or maybe she's still there,
I'm trying to debunk it. I'm thinking, can this computer click on? It's like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, you still have something. So yeah, at the age I'm at and experiencing that, and with my Bigfoot experience, I'm thinking, boy, you're just lucky. And yeah, I think Ruby is gone. And I think there's something else there. So, but you guys are going to find out, because
that's right. I was just going to throw that out there. You have given us access to the house, and later this month we'll be going out to Blue Hill and doing an investigation. Yeah,
and I try to keep the house. I haven't been back in a while. I settled it. After all this had happened, I just gave it back to her, and I hope that when you guys go back, she's gonna, or whatever's there is gonna cooperate. Yeah.
Yep.
So
we'll go in and we'll do what we do. And as I told you when I spoke to you earlier this week, we go in very respectful and we don't antagonize or we don't provoke anything. And we'll be with you and we'll tell you.
Yep.
That's right. We'll let you know what's going on and what we find.
Well, you're sure more than welcome. And Ruby shows up for you. So she's been
we
good.
We do too.
I miss her.
Sounds like she was a great person.
I had her, I think at the event in Cheyenne, had a lady come up and say she was her paper girl.
Oh,
when she was younger, and Ruby was just a sweetheart. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a
So you did
coincidence, huh?
pardon?
I said
Sorry,
that's
Jason.
quite a coincidence, huh?
Yeah.
That you're going around showing this movie and end up, finding someone that personally knew Ruby. That would be such an amazing correlation.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, and the movie can be seen. I know it can be seen on Paraflix over there where we're at. And I know it's on a couple other streaming services. I want to say that I think I saw it over on Prime as well, Amazon Prime
And Tubi.
and Tubi. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're watching and you want to see The Haunting on Blue Hill, Kenny's house in Blue Hill, Nebraska, and the interaction that they had with Ruby, you can see that on those streaming services.
Yep, sure can. And appreciate you watching. Alan and them are their production company is called Twisted Tree Films, and they've done a lot of films from the paranormal to Bigfoot. So
yeah, they have a couple different episodes on Paraflix over there as well. I think they did that UFO Watchtower in southern Colorado.
Yes.
That's pretty interesting. I want to get down there sometime.
Yeah, that one out in the San Luis Valley, right? The two ladies set that up.
Yeah.
That observation.
Many years ago. Yeah. Many. I've probably been there over 20 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Well, Kenny, we appreciate you coming.
Well,
we appreciate you coming on tonight. And we're going to let you get to what you need to get to. Well, and we look forward to getting out there to Blue Hill and investigating your house.
Yeah, we'll talk some more. And thanks for having me on, guys. I think I did pretty good tonight. I didn't get all, off cue too much. So
no, it was
great. I could have gone another couple hours just on Bigfoot. So we're definitely going to have you back on.
Oh yeah, I could go on and on. Just so much out there to share, and I've been pretty fortunate. So thank you.
Yeah, and don't forget, everyone, Bigfoot Days in Estes Park. You can see Kenny and all those people from all the different shows on TV, April 25th and 26th.
Yeah, I have a site called Bigfoot Loose USA /Facebook. A lot of videos in there over the years of doing this. You'll see on that site. So
there you go. Thanks again, Kenny.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk.
Great episode tonight. He is super awesome, and I know he could have gone much longer.
I still have a page of questions to talk to him about when we have him back on. So
yeah, or when we go see him at Bigfoot Days.
Yeah, absolutely.
All those castings behind him are pretty amazing too.
Yes, they are. Yep, and he had sent us some pictures that we didn't have a chance to put on that are just amazing.
We'll try to throw those up on the Paranomalies Facebook page so people can see those.
Yeah, good idea.
All right. We thank you all for coming and watching tonight. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, everybody. See you next week.